Yo, what's up, guys? We're no longer on the Safer Guardian, and I did ask at the Safer Guardian video, what would you guys like to see me do as maybe as a series? Because currently, we all know in Summoners War there's not too much going on at the moment. The updates are kind of stale, so there's not too much for me to talk about. But people did say what they like to see is going into someone's account and maybe fixing some of his dungeon teams, or fixing this, or fixing that, or maybe roasting someone's account or that kind of stuff. And yes, I've seen other people do that kind of content. People were referring to, Juno. I've seen some of his content as well. Definitely great guy. Do check him out. He does kind of that content, but I always have noticed that people cannot really relate if I log into, let's say, a G1 account and it has a Sarath in there, and I start fixing his Giants team or maybe a Dragons team, or I talk about his RTA box. Can people actually relate to the point where people that don't have a Sarath will be watching that? And that is kind of my question that I'm asking you guys right now as well, is if you see an account that I would be referring to, because that's always my mindset why I've actually never done that, because that suggestion came multiple times and more often I've heard about it before. And I do totally not mind to do that. I think it could be fun content. But for me, what I've seen in when other people do that kind of stuff is like going onto an account, talking about things, what could they do, what could they do better, maybe roast the living shit out of that account, say that everyone's artifacts are shit, most likely gonna happen. But those kind of things, is it relatable enough for other people to start watching that, to make like a regular series out of that? Maybe, let's say, every Saturday or every Sunday, I would go on an account of one of the viewers, or maybe I'll make like a group in Discord and you could be raffled out of that group in the Discord, and then we have contact and you tell me what you would like to focus on and I say, you're shit. And then also how to fix that. Let's see if that is interesting. But once again, I would like to ask you guys an honest opinion. Would you guys be interested in watching that if that is an account that is totally not yours? If that is an account that has units that you totally do not have? If that is an account that is asking for things you normally don't care about that much? Because that is the main thing. Everyone would like to see a account review on their account, but only on their account and not someone else's account. And therefore, it would be making a video just for one person rather than making a video that would be good for a wider population of people. So that is kind of a video idea and series that I have in mind. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. If you guys pull through with that, I will make a Discord section out of that, so do join the Discord. Also, first link in the description, because I will be pulling people from the Discord in there. And I will probably also, of course, put my subscribers on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. I only have subscribers on Twitch. The subscribers on Twitch will get like a little bit of a higher value for the ref or that kind of stuff. Or maybe play some RTA wings on someone's account or anything like that. Could be pretty much anything that I just spend like half an hour to an hour on someone's account and just try to fix things if someone is stuck with something. And I think that would be really nice. I think that would be helpful for definitely that person. But the thing that I'm not sure about is, would that be helpful for people that are not having a similar account? And yeah, once again, going back to the same question, will that be useful? I don't know. Another thing that I was thinking about is still a lot of people are not really farming artifacts. I'm farming artifacts right now. Would you guys be having a usefulness out of a video of me explaining every artifact line in the simplest way possible, including good examples, bad examples, and something like that? That is kind of a video that I was talking about or thinking about maybe making. And that's kind of the thing. At some point when there's not too much stuff going on, you're kind of searching for content. In the end, it's kind of my job at the moment, while it does pay the bills of me making content and that kind of stuff. So at some point, it's also interesting from you guys to hear, it's like, okay, what would you guys like to see me do? I could definitely find another random unit in here somewhere in the box. Let's say I go to a Jasoon, I throw my craziest rage set on it and say like, Jasoon damage, let's go. Like, I could totally make videos like that. Or I've also been thinking weird ideas like, let's say I clear all of the PvE dungeons with the most meta teams out there, but I'm only allowed to use violent runes. So 6 violent runes on every unit. And then I'm supposed to rune up like the Tesher speed team, a full Leon speed team. That's going to be very difficult though. Like something random like that. Like those are the kind of ideas that I have been having for making new videos. But also if you have any other ideas which you would say is like, oh, maybe look at this team or that team. I have a few dungeon teams here and there that I have seen that I haven't really been making videos on just yet that I might be doing. But in most cases, most of the dungeon teams are kind of already done. Most of the videos are kind of already done for guides. People also have been asking me, it's like, oh, can you make a guide on like how to start drafting in RTA and how to start playing RTA? I definitely do like that idea, but I would also say that idea is very limited to the time frame that you currently have, because the meta is definitely rotating around with every balance patch and all of that kind of stuff, also depending on what kind of rank you are. But it's even more depending on what kind of units you have. So let's say I would make a guide saying it's like, okay, currently the meta is a Rommel and Judia, it's a Lenoa and this thing, and you go for Shiho, you go for Oliver, and blah, blah, that kind of stuff. And you would be just like, yeah, cool video and I'll say, but I miss 3 out of those units. Not worth it for me. I could definitely also refer back to it's like, oh, this is the free-to-play style to draft. But that's kind of the thing. Everyone has like the monster selection. You always have at least some units you can draft. But having at least some units you can draft makes it a very specific subset of what you can draft and what you have and what is usable for you. And therefore, the playstyle that might be a generic playstyle does not work for you, but a playstyle that's slightly outside of that might be very useful for you. And it's also, of course, depending on what kind of runes and that kind of stuff. I could definitely make a video of like, okay, how to get started in RTA. But I think the getting started in RTA is probably not that difficult, as well, also, that's just my assumption. It's probably not that difficult, but let me know in the comments once again what you think about that as well. I could definitely do videos about that, talking about like, hey, these are the units to draft on. These are the turn orders you have to keep in mind. These are the things that maybe I see from other people making mistakes. Definitely a few pointers in there that I could be looking into. But then it's definitely also something that might be more of a recurring update of like, okay, this is the meta right now. These are the units to focus on right now. This is how you would kind of counter them. This is how it would be counted by the other players. These are the things that you want to focus on. These are the good runes to focus on maybe for re-ups at the moment or that kind of stuff. But then again, a lot of that stuff is very dependent on like, what do you have? What do you not have? What can you work with? What are the units you're having? What can you draft? How can you draft it? Do you have crazy Swifts runes? Do you have crazy Fire runes? Do you have crazy this? Do you crazy that? And sure, I could go through most of the meta play styles and just reiterate like, okay, the good core combinations right now are Twin Angels Oliver, add in the Shiho, Okeanos is really good, all of that kind of stuff. But you can also kind of notice that from a tier list, which I've also mainly been making. It doesn't really go into the builds though. So that could also maybe be more of a video. I talk about all of the meta units in RT at the moment. And what are the builds to aim for? And sure, a lot of people would like to hear, it's like, okay, at least 20k HP and 800 attack and 500 defense and then 180 speed. Well, the thing is, it's not like, it's not that specific. Like if you can go for a 30k HP, but you lower the attack and defense, go for that. If you can make a 195 speed and it would be in tune with the rest of the stuff, then you can lower the other stats. So that's always one of those things I kind of struggle with giving like exact suggestions in. Is like, or people asking us like, oh, for C2, should I be 230 speed? Yeah, probably not. But there's people in C2 with 230 speed. So it doesn't really matter that much for one specific unit. It's more the team composition, the drafting. Big factor on the RNG. That's definitely not gonna be putting that out of the window. But also definitely artifacts. So I would say videos on meta units plus their builds and that kind of stuff would definitely be an interesting one. And that would maybe be something like that I could do 2-3 weeks after a balance patch. After that time, there will still be a bunch of changes. But those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about for making videos. But once again, if you guys have other ideas for a series or videos or anything like that, definitely do let me know. Also, one of those things that I always do like to do is if you guys have a very specific dungeon team that's either really easy to gear or really easy to rune or really, well, that's the same thing. Easy to rune, easy to use, or is very free-to-play friendly, or actually very pay-to-win, and you would like me to showcase that on your account, definitely do hit me up on Discord as well. Just DM me on Discord if you have an interesting team. Maybe I will say it's like, hey, sorry, I already did this exact team. But that also gives me more of a chance to showcase certain teams without having to put like crazy rune quality. Like I have okay-ish good rune quality. Well, I would say my rage rune has progressively getting better because every time that I don't want to be wasting that many crystals, I go into farming of, what's it called? I go into necro farming, and in the end, you get like these kind of sets of like close to 2.5 or 240 on 100. And it's like, you're showing off your runes again. It's like, yeah, sometimes. But that's also totally not my intention. It's just that if I try something to ruin on my account, I just use the best shit I have. But therefore, it's also, once again, not that relatable for people. It's like, hey, I can't really build this. And therefore, someone else might say, it's like, hey, can you not do it on a way lower end account? And sometimes I also get the question is like, can you rune it up with your runes to the lowest requirement? What is needed? It's like, yeah, that's also one of those fine lines. Like, what is the lowest requirement needed? Because in the end, it's not necessarily like, oh, if you put this to exactly 240 crit damage, then you will always guaranteed do X, Y, or Z. Because you have the chance of getting resisted, you have the chance of this, you have the chance of that. Sure, you could kind of mention that, for example, like, oh, you have to one-shot the wave. With one-shotting the wave, I can mention, it's like, okay, for one-shotting the wave, you need X amount of damage. But X amount of damage is still very specific on, like, what are your artifacts, how many fight runes, what is the leader. Well, if you're using the exact same team, it's just the fight runes, the artifacts, and everything of that kind of nature. So there's a lot of factors to it which do make it a little bit more difficult for me to say, like, okay, this is the absolute minimum. But then again, if anyone has a specific team built already with kind of low rune requirements, then that would definitely be a nice one for me to showcase that as well, without me having to play an account for 3 months to try to get the runes on it myself, because in the end, you guys can maybe help me out, and you will, of course, get a shout out to that part as well. So definitely one of those things that I would like to see. Other things of videos, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe if there's someone with like a super crazy funny arena offense to do someone's arena rush or something like that. But then again, I feel like I kind of showcased most of the arena teams that I feel are very interesting kind of already. Also, most arena teams are somewhat figured out to a certain extent. I would like to, that's actually one that I've never done. I would like to do an arena rush on a Crack plus a Trinity account that has like good Lucians and a good Kabila. I think that's a pretty fun one as well. Not sure how crazy good those are, but I think that's a pretty solid one. So yeah, once again, asking you guys to maybe help me out to make a little bit of content. And of course, I will shout you out as well. Also, yeah, that's pretty much all for this video. Just me asking you for a bunch of things. First of all, are you interested in me making a video of like an account takeover kind of thing and then roasting it or fixing it or anything like that? And what kind of other content would you be interested in seeing? And also, especially with the first one, would you be interested in seeing it on your account only? Or would you also be interested in seeing it on someone else's account? Because that is mainly the issue that I feel with that first content, is that people would probably really love that on their account, but people wouldn't give a shit about someone else's account, because that's just the simple fact. So yeah, once again, let me know in the comments. Just a quick video. I definitely have a few other ideas in mind, which I didn't really name. So I'm definitely not like, ooh, this guy has nothing to do and he's just searching for content. No, it's not that bad, but just curious to hear from you guys. What would you guys like to hear? Also, of course, you can let me know in the Discord. There is a tab of video suggestions. Definitely do feel free to put anything in the video suggestions. Definitely does not mean that I'm going to be doing that right away or I'm going to do that at all. But it's definitely, I will read all of those suggestions in there and I will definitely think about it and definitely therefore after say it's like, no, this is a shit idea. No, totally kidding. Most of the times people that are suggesting things, that does end up in the video. So that's for me all for now. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you can make it to your RTA rank that you do want to get, because the RTA is closing pretty soon. I have secured my rank. I actually got to the point where I felt like I'm definitely not gonna get my rank this season, which would be the first time since 2019 of, well, yeah, January 2019, which was my first G3. I think I got it in the end. I think that this is safe, but man, was it a struggle, and man, I'm not liking the current RTA season. I can tell you that much. I have a video talking about the RTA current meta as well and why I dislike it that much. But that will be for a future video, because that is a pretty lengthy topic. But yeah, the current RTA meta, I had 277 matches of very much no enjoyment. And that's what I can say. So I definitely do hope that you guys are having a little bit more enjoyment with the RTA and you guys get the rank that you crave for at this moment. So guys, thanks a lot for watching for this one. See you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.